You know, in the last reel that I posted in August, I begged the question, is funding for solar-powered products in the United States a fallacy? We've passed a few months since then. We're currently in the second week of January of 2026. And I can honestly say, as far as I've seen this to this point, I was right. And I think this matters. And you know, this question and the answer to this question really matters. When you turn on the news in today's world, you see our country and what's happening in the world and how they interact and how they relate and our market and our economics. And I think what I just witnessed is probably the ultimate case study that could go on in government corruption around funding, misinformation to mislead the public, and actual, I want to say reputational harm, but it's a little more than that because it was kind of personal at what went on in terms of like things that were said to me that the public's just not privy to, and later what was written on the internet and what the actual dealings were and what the intent was of the person that did the acts. I have a small company, okay? I did not start off Western Harmonics with, for example, like Jeff Bezos did with $1 million for Amazon. And, that means you have to raise capital. No different than what I have going on in this place, but you've got to be somewhere in life where you exist. So this is actually becoming my residence very slowly. We've got a lot of work going on. But, when it comes to funding things, I'm sort of surprised at what I saw happen. Our president under Biden came out and said multiple times how they were investing heavily into solar-powered startups, companies, manufacturing, products, people, ideas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. To hear it, it was literally Mardi Gras. They're throwing out all the goodies. And if you're lucky, you're going to catch, the big necklace off the float. But when it came down to the brass tacks of the matter, and, history doesn't unwrite itself, literally nothing came out. Nothing. And when I called the folks in Arizona and Tucson to sort of inquire, because there was so much money that was put out for this, I found it sort of shocking that even a locally owned Chinese company in Tucson got $11 million. A Chinese-owned company in Tucson got $11 million. But here my company, who has been around for a very long time, when I call the people there and I ask them, the people in charge, this actually happened, and I asked them if they could name the solar companies in Tucson, or if they had heard of my company, or even my products, or any such business. Completely ignorant. Never heard of her. That's what they had to say. So we're at my location here in Kansas, and I'm going to be here for a period of time because we've got quite a lot of work I've got to do personally. I have my office downstairs. I'm running the company. We're shipping. I just got done doing a very big overhaul of the website to improve quite a bit of functionality that I'm going to be adding in that hopefully will help a lot. Over the past years, we've had people buy things, then they want to hook up into a system and want to know about adding batteries and expanding stuff. So I've got a pretty good feature I'm adding onto the website that's going to be an excellent assistant with this. And as well, we've improved the website security. So that being said, we're available. but we're going to be coming on to pre-order, which, as many of you know, I have said this in previous videos. I've definitely posted this on Facebook. This is not my favorite thing. But when you live in a country where you have to survive by producing products or otherwise contributing your talent to society, which I have amply done to the tune of thousands of units that I have personally, with these hands, I have assembled thousands of fans, thousands. Thousands of circuit boards have had upgrades done to them in the process of inventing and manufacturing, and together, Robertson and I invented the solar-powered fan industry in the United States as it exists. And everything that has gone on since the day this was started has been a flood of knockoffs. We got parts on the floor. A long list of interference directly out of the Office for, the Solar Energy Installers Association, the Arizona chapter in Phoenix. Several just kind of rogue folks that came in wanting to play vigilante and sort of paint my company one way and just sort of didn't get what they asked for because I'm not going to wear the stripes. I did not work for 10 years of my life to invent an entire segment of the industry, to have my own people, the people that are supposed to be there for our people, who have been amply funded to the tune of billions of dollars, tell me that there is no funding available and then give it to questionable recipients at best and claim that nothing is left, there's no application, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then have to face the public for yet another year where I have to have this on pre-order. And, you know, I have a life going on. I've got new products that I've invented. I'm making a nice house here. Okay, anybody has any questions about my reputation? You can come over here to Chautauqua, Kansas. I have a business entry on the first floor. I would be happy to sit down with you at my desk and we can discuss it directly. But as far as like believing what you read on the internet about Western Harmonics, one thing you should read and you should absolutely believe, there is a world of difference between what I produce and what Amazon sells on Amazon as Chinese white label goods that are a solar battery fan. There is no comparison. There really is not. And on top of that, there are latecomers to the scene that follow on to just sort of scoop up the sales. And I want to warn you specifically about the DIY. I'm going to put the link here. It's going to be right here on the video. Okay, this group on Facebook. I want to warn you specifically about this group. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that I've uncovered in research about this group, and particularly the moderators, the goings-on, and some of the people that actually participated in slandering my name in this group on Facebook. And if you're one of those members and you're watching this video, yes, I am definitely referring to you. I have no agenda other than to have my products that I spent years of my life without pay and in a magnanimous act used my money to facilitate into existence. I have nothing to do other than to deliver what we have produced. And to mislead the public about what I make or how my dealings are is honestly one of the highest insults I've seen lodged at me in my 55 years of walking around on this planet. At this point in my life, for me to be doing this work when there was absolute crickets, and I have the screenshots when I started with the solar-powered fans, there was nothing available in the United States. And, I spent a lot of time working with thousands of people in this country to determine exactly what was needed for the livestock per their own input, and developed the benchmark for the solar-powered fan industry. And to have that through dubious means at best by a Facebook group be usurped by a couple of moderators who participated in libel and slander, and then to just have the repercussions of that dumped in my lap so that I'm late and yet again we are not able to get funding is an absolute criminal act, what went on there. So all that being said, what do you do? What do I do? What do I think I should do? What does the audience think we should do? Fight. We're producing more. We're not being deterred. Anybody who's been waiting, my sincere apology, but I have just explained why, our products are so hard to get and then sell out so fast, and then there's a wait line, and then there's a pre-order, and all of the goings on that make that be, while, panderers to drama to be quote unquote influencers on the internet, in Facebook groups, and in lobbying organizations in Phoenix, well, chapter organizations, because the national organization doesn't even have it. They're like, no, that's a different group. We don't let them win. No, we don't. And I have a brand new product that we're introducing. It's product 8 on the website. So if you have a minute, you might want to just kind of peruse that listing. It's going to be getting updated. This is something that is well overdue, and it's just literally a completely unrelated product, but a product that's totally related and truly a revolutionary product. So make sure to like and subscribe and follow for Western Harmonics, and you pay us a visit at westernharmonics.com. Should you need to reach me as the owner of the company, I can be reached at area code 619-292-5179. Please help us to expand and grow and raise the capital that we need. There's a reason for the fact that Amazon has so much Chinese inventory in stock. And you know what that reason is? They fund their people. And if you're telling me that the United States can't beat that, you need to go sit on the bench. Let's go.